The Hollywood bloodbath continues, especially in the world of syndicated live television. And you know what? It's just not surprising. The people are not engaging any longer, at least their audience is finding them inauthentic. And a lot of times when related to Hollywood and to, well, the lowest common denominator markets, that audience is drying up, disappearing, and or being limited to maybe one or two locations. And I think that's exactly what happened. So why is everything being canceled and going away? Well, somebody wisened up. So let's talk about it. Here we go. Now, before we get started, just a real quick reminder, I am trying to get to 50K with your kind help and a couple moments of my indulgence. If you just take a look and check if you're subscribed, if not, click on the subscribe button. And then click on the bell icon, turning on all notifications. After that, a quick thumbs up, and any comment along any point in this video will be much appreciated. I thank you in advance, and let's move on. So the story originally originated elsewhere, but I grabbed this one first so we could cover it from the Daily Mail. And this is a weird situation because it really gives you the story and the thumbnail at the top. It's been canceled. This Access Hollywood story is, well, a disaster. Access Hollywood canceled. A show starring Mario Lopez is set to end after nearly 30 years. And of course, the headline and the picture says it all. And Mario Lopez and Kit Hoover are just done out of the blue. The story originally was reported on The Hollywood Reporter here, saying Access Hollywood canceled, along with Kuramo, Steve Wilkos, and the other NBCU syndicated productions. In fact, many of them, including, I think, the talk show that was hosted by one of the winners of a singing show, which I always found odd, Kelly Clarkson. And look, was she engaging? I don't know. Drew Barrymore certainly isn't. She's about as fake and fraudulent as, let's say, Ellen was. And we just didn't know about Ellen until too late. Regardless, the company will continue to distribute library of content that came from these shows, but it's going to end the production of the first-run syndicated programming in a strategic shift. Well, yeah, they need to save money and put money elsewhere. That makes a lot of sense, especially since they are kicking to the curb or have a lot of things that they don't need support for anymore. That's right. By creating a bad debt receiver in Versant, they also have no need for programs like these, nor the will to produce them. Makes a lot of sense. So Kuramo and Steve Wilkos both have completed their production with new episodes that have been taped during the summer. Access Hollywood and Access Live will continue production through the summer before calling out or ending out their run. And NBCU is making changes to our first-run syndication division to better align with the programming preferences of local stations, which makes a lot of sense. Francis Berwick, chairman of Bravo and Peacock, unscripted for NBCUniversal, in a statement said the company will remain active in the distribution of our existing program library and other off-network titles. While winding down production of our first-run shows, these shows have provided audiences with great talk and entertainment content for many, many years, and we're very proud of the teams behind them. Access Hollywood has been in production for nearly 30 years, and its first episode airing in September of 1996. Mario Lopez and Kit Hoover, Scott Evans and Zuri Hall are the show's current hosts, but they won't be for much longer. Kuramo is hosted by Queer Eye veteran Kuramo Brown, who began production in 2022, and Steve Wilkos is hosted by Wilkos, the former security guard for Jerry Springer. Thus, a spinoff was born, and an engaging one at that, oftentimes with the same vibes and results that Jerry Springer got. But at the same time, maybe it wasn't holding an audience anymore, or maybe it was a direction that TV outlets just refused to run. And that's been happening more and more frequently, especially with some embarrassing results coming out of all of these shows. Well, at least that's my opinion. You can go ahead and let me know yours in the comments below. But the decision to essentially shut down syndicated production comes a month after the company announced that Kelly Clarkson's show is toast after this year. Talk shows in general have been coming under both financial and competitive pressure with rising costs, waning demand, and increased competition from other platforms like yours truly. And you also can chalk this up to Colbert's cancellation and the impending removal of Jimmy Kimmel, which I think is quite possible, provided the fact that he tends to get away with lying a lot, and I think the network will be called on the table over there at ABC for allowing it to air at all. But set all that aside, it's just cheaper not to have a show that can't financially support itself. And I think Disney is in the process of realizing some very tough lessons. Maybe I'm mistaken. I'm curious what you have to think. Still, there is no question that is the end of an era for NBC and for entertainment journalism. I'm not sure you could call any of those shows journalism, but okay. And the end of Access, the biggest player in the space, CBS Entertainment Tonight, is still in production. I didn't know that, nor do I care. And Inside Edition and Extra, which is produced and distributed by Warner Brothers, well, they're still out there as well. What's interesting is, will they be? If Paramount ends up acquiring Warner Brothers Discovery as planned, I would expect they'll be looking at deep cost cuts as well, especially for shows like this that are oftentimes covered by individuals more effectively, since all of the materials laid out in the trades or TMZ well in advance. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I think it's largely over for any of these types of programs. I think we're going to get people like you here hanging out with people like me talking about this more effectively. And instead of just one side of the conversation, we can have a discussion in the comments section down below. But hey, what do you think? I'm willing to entertain any thoughts on this matter, or if you think that this is really just going to level the playing field in a way that I don't think any of these networks realize when it comes to their direct competition with services like the streaming companies, YouTube, and of course the Green Machine, and even places like Kick and Twitch. Is this a change in direction that's permanent, or is it a change in direction that's temporary? Or is this just simple cost cutting? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. And as always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, we'll see you. Probably not watching any of these shows.